Someone's last. I don't know.
Nee. Rachel. Rachel, hi. Dai, say hi to the camera. Benita, come here, look at me. Beanie, Rachel. Hello. Anu. Dai. Hello, everyone, mate. Everyone's fine. Goodbye.
Devil's telling me that there's nothing wrong. Tears fall.
Feather? Oh, it's a feather. Feather. Isn't see that duck over there?
Like you're still around. But am I happy now? Am I happy now? Are you happy now?
As Africans, we have had a greater history, but all of that had been distorted, especially even in this part of the world. I mean, we had, growing up under apartheid, what they call Bantu education, which only had shared documents from the mid-1600s. And prior to that, we never had anything of what our great leaders and ancestors had achieved. But we are mindful that there are greater things that had happened before, especially when it comes to civilization. And up to this modern day and time. Those houses you saw further up there ruined are from the Second World War. They were built for the Coastal Guard soldiers. We're also going to see one or two of the guns from World War II. Yes. Here's one of the fishing vessels that wrecked in 1977 here. But there are also quite a few shipwrecks that you would find along the island's coast. That was the only successful escape documented. But we've had people who tried to swim, but none are ever said to have succeeded. This is now in the early centuries. But in the apartheid era, no one escaped from here. But there were plans that political prisoners had. But it was quite difficult, and even security, it was intense. And this is our school here, the Robben Island Primary. It's from grade 1 to grade 7 as a primary school, and it's mostly attended by children that live here. But there are only 18 learners this year that are attending the school. Yes. So when they finish the grade 7, they'll have to commute, however, from the leper period. Yeah. That small entrance there was referred to as the Gate of Tears. So if you knew that as a leper, they had a sign written that you had to abandon all hope when you came here, because chances are that you are not going to leave the island still alive. A former prisoner by the name of Dumisani shared with me an experience that in the apartheid era, it is something that they had constantly on their minds, of attempting to escape if the opportunity was available. Yes. But the government was strategic that they only brought in black male prisoners here. They know for us to swim is a cultural difficulty. So even though they thought about it often, it was highly impossible. Yeah, Mr. Mandela is also part of the same tribe of the Abakosa. Where is everyone from? I understand there's a group from the United States of America. And where else is all our visitors from? From Saudi Arabia, from Italy, from Eritrea,
England,
from England.
My mother.
Are there any South Africans on board? Okay, there's 2 South Africans.
Austria.
Wow, you all missed the World Cup, man. It was such a great experience. The Italians brought back the cup home, and Ghana was so close. but Spain won the cup, you know. But one of the most exciting games and most dramatic was the Ghanaian game against Uruguay, which they cheated us. Yeah, they cheated us on the last minute. I know all of you were watching that game. Even if you're not into football, but you got to understand what the rules are all about. You know? There are some kids who have been named after the boat in the past few years. You know? But the ferry that brought prisoners here is the one that you see standing on the side. The blue and white, the Susan Kruger. There was also earlier on the Blowbird. Those were the ferries used here when the first prisoners were brought during the apartheid era. But the island is documented to have been opened in 1962 by the apartheid regime. But it's only black political prisoners that were incarcerated here. And there were also criminals that were brought to this island. Yeah, the prison itself, though, it was built by political prisoners. And that was part of forced labor that they had to go through here during the apartheid period, you know. And it's a process that took them about 2 years, you know, waking up in the early mornings to go and work in the stone quarries and transporting to the stone where the area where the prison is. You know. This is amongst the first group here. But even in the manner that you see the prisoners dressed, the khaki pants, the shorts, and even barefoot, those were the standard prison uniform, you know, in the beginning stages of it. You know, this island, amongst all prisons that we had in South Africa, it was considered to have been the worst, especially because of the apartheid policies and the fact that there were only black male prisoners that were here. And we were classified, even though we were only black prisoners. I would have been considered a Bantu prisoner or the African prisoner. But we also had Indians. There were those that were considered coloreds, those that are of mixed race. And there were also the Asians that were also incarcerated on Robben Island. In terms of women political prisoners, they were sent to different prisons around the country, but also racially segregated. And we also had white male political prisoners. But the white male prisoners were all sent to Pretoria. And compared to what was going on here, it was totally different. But even here in the early stages, as you've noticed the guards, they were both black and white guards. But late 1964, as the prison was already completed, the head of department decided the black guards had to be transferred elsewhere because they understood that there was, you know, that correspondence happening between them, and especially of information leaking in and out of here. I was not a prisoner here, or neither was my colleague, but we are part of staff that have now come on board since the island has been open as a museum. It's a very interesting part of our history as well, and even our experiences being on this island in this day and time. Before we do so, this is the visitors center on the side here, where the families were allowed to come and see prisoners, as well as their lawyers and those that were also given authority. But being allowed visits as a prisoner, it only meant that people were allowed twice a year. So every 6 months, it's only a half an hour visit that you were given as to how they all started the process. But as years went by, depending which part of the prison section you were kept in, and also on your behavior, would amount to the increasing number of visits and even letters that you would receive. But it wasn't a pleasant experience. You know, just, 30 minutes when you think that the time is already finished, and you couldn't just discuss politics or anything related to it. Yeah, but most prisoners that were here say when they saw their wives coming here, it was a source of strength for them. Even if it was just for that moment, it really mattered. Because going back home, at least people would know that you are still in good health. And you always have to keep the morale so that you don't show that side of whatever was going on behind the walls here. Has anyone ever been here before? Nope. You've been here before. You said you were from Johannesburg. Were you here as a prisoner or as a visitor?
A visitor.
You were here 4 years ago. Okay. Not as a prisoner.
Mandela spent only 18 years in that cell number 7. After 18 years, he was deported to Paulsmoor prison, where he spent 7 years. And after 7 years, he was deported to Victor Verster prison, where he spent 2 years, and where he was released in 1990, 11th of February. So Nelson Mandela spent 27 years in prison in total. You are free to take pictures. You are free to ask questions. So this is F section, one of the communal or general cells here on Robben Island. And I spent most of my 7 years in imprisonment in this cell. This cell was accommodating about 60 people, 60. We were forced to share that bathroom. Inside that bathroom, there are 3 showers. We were forced to wake up early in the morning at 4 a.m. in order to accommodate ourselves. If you didn't get a chance to wash, the authorities will lock you in solitary confinement. You will not eat the whole day, you will eat the following morning. And during those years, we had to wash thrice a week during the winter season. People like Nelson Mandela spent 18 years here on Robben Island with no socks, no shoes, no jacket. And also, we were segregated on that scale. It was given to us as political prisoners. So, colored and Asian political prisoners. On Mill, they were given 6 ounces, which is 200 grams. And black political prisoners were given 12 ounces, which is 400 grams. On bread, colored and Asian political prisoners were given 4 ounces, and black political prisoners were not allowed to receive bread. They were allowed to receive Manga's drink, the so-called energy drink, but it had never gave us any energy. Jam or syrup. Colored and Asian political prisoners were given 1 ounce, and black political prisoners were not allowed to receive jam or syrup. And during our arrival as political prisoners, we were given the new names. As I have already mentioned that my original name is Sparks, but during my arrival, I was given another name, as all political prisoners who recently arrived on Robben Island, like Nelson Mandela, had never been called Nelson Mandela. I myself was called 5683.
Again, when they win the ball, we didn't
No, wait.
Dog, get away first.
I'll take another one. Come a bit closer.
Is it recording? No.
10 years I've been trying to write this song and it's absurd. Every time I sit down I can't put it into words. From the day you gave me birth, there you say them baby birds. Day when I was praying, puppet laying in the dirt. I've been the worst and I know, but my mother's been my saving grace. Gave me space to grow and they say it glows. When I be spraying out my flows, looking out into the roads and see my mother at my shows, only one of those. So one high is worth 100 lows, and some of those, there's been a ton of those. We stick together through whatever, never running both. Cause roof down, running roads as the summer blows. Check, only my mother knows. Only my mother knows. And I heard them say, nothing's ever promised tomorrow today. Check, but I heard them say,
nothing's ever promised tomorrow.
But we'll find a way.
And nothing lasts forever, but be honest, babe. Hurts, but it may be the only way.
So I'm saying sorry for the swearing. Shit, I know it gets a little overbearing. It's just the way you laugh when I start to say I'm fast. Have you laughing out your ass till you're ribbing what I'm wearing? It's the stuff we're sharing, the love we're holding, the way we stay together through whatever stuff we're told. And it's the way we're molded, compact, fully folded. Can't write about a night, cause every single night's been golden. It's them priceless moments, spinning as the soul is spun. Saying you know me like you know your son. Want a little sister but ended up with an older one. I know my mum, it's been true. The best thing about me is being you. It's been true, it's been you. And I heard them say, nothing's ever promised tomorrow today. Check. And I heard them say,
nothing's ever promised tomorrow
but
today.
we'll find a way.
And nothing lasts forever, but be honest, babe. Hurts, but it may be the only way. With every worthless word we get more far away. And nothing's ever promised tomorrow today. And nothing lasts forever, but be honest, babe. Hurts, but it may be the only way.
Right, I'm good. Yeah, we're good.